So in last class we discussed inverse of a matrix, right? Think we discussed about transpose and we proved AB whole transpose is B transpose into A transpose. And then we have seen what is conjugate transpose and some some results with the help of the matrix multiplication we defined earlier. This is what we have seen. And then we have seen what are even permutations or odd permutations. You can decide based on the number of swaps. If the number of swaps are odd, you can take them as odd permutations, and if they are even, you can take them as even permutations. So we are going to assign some sign for even and odd permutations. If it is even, we are going to assign +1. For odd, we will assign -1. Okay, and here we define the determinant of a matrix. Okay, so you are taking product of the elements from rows and columns in such a way that only exactly one entry is coming from each row and each column, and you are taking their product, right? And this is how the determinant is defined: a1, a2 up to am, where i1, i2, im are permutation of these numbers. I1 permutation of 1, 2, 3 up to m. So this is the actual definition of determinant. And we have seen this definition and the definition what you have learned earlier, both are same. But whatever you have learned earlier, it is easy to calculate. You can have some way. Yeah, this also it is easy, but you need to do a little work. But while proving results, this definition will be useful. And you can see that the determinant of k into a, which is same as k power n into determinant of a, where k is a scalar, just a number. Okay. And then we define cofactor. See, when it comes to properties of determinant, there is one more property in terms of product. So that is determinant of a into b, which is same as determinant of a into determinant of b. Okay, we'll discuss its proof later on. Right? So then we define cofactor of an element in a matrix. So if you take a particular element, that is ijth entry, its cofactor is the determinant of the matrix after removing the ith row and jth column. And the matrix determinant which is obtained after eliminating ith row and jth column, that is called a minor. So that's why it's going to be denoted as mij. Okay, so but when it comes to cofactor, it will be multiplied with -1 power I plus j. But when it comes to minor, it won't be multiplied with this. Suppose if you just take this guy, you can say that is just a minor. And we have defined determinant in terms of cofactors. You just take any row or any column and you multiply each entry in that row with the corresponding cofactor, and then you add all of them. So that will give you the determinant. And we have seen what is a singular matrix, non-singular matrix. Yeah, when it comes to inverse of a matrix, we can talk about the left inverse and the right inverse and all that I'll discuss now. So this is what we have discussed it for a square matrix. So when you get a into b equal to b into a, and that equal to identity, then you can say that b is an inverse of a, and you are going to denote with a inverse. Okay, there are some situations there you may get let's say A is a 2/3 matrix. Okay, now my interest is this. Can I find any B such that B into A? This gives me an identity matrix. Of course, here you have 2/3 matrix. So definitely I do expect. Can you tell me what is the size of this matrix to multiply with A?
n by 2.
Okay, that's good. N by 2. So it can be any matrix of size n by 2. Okay, so here I do expect an identity because I'd like to talk about inverse of this matrix. Okay, since you are multiplying on the left side, so we'd like to talk about inverse of a matrix. So now what must be that n? So when you multiply this A on the left hand side with some other matrix, I do expect identity. So definitely since you have 3 here, we do expect of size 3. So you start with a matrix of 3 by 2 and A is a matrix of 2 by 3. Okay, so if you can find a B in such a way that A into B equal to I3, identity matrix of size 3. I mean, this is what 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. Then I'm going to call B is a left inverse of A. But here you should think about it. Is it possible to find such a B? Once if we discuss a rank of a matrix, then you can easily tell whether it is possible or not. Let me do one thing. Let me take another example. Let's say if you start with a 3 by 2 matrix. Okay. Now I'm looking for B, that is 2 by 3 matrix, in such a way that its product will give me an identity matrix of size 2 by 2. Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say A is 1, okay, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2. So this is a 3 by 2 matrix, right? Now can you think of B for which B into A equal to 2 by 2 identity matrix? Means you should tell me what must be that B. Let's say B equal to, uh, so I need definitely a 2 by 3 matrix. So I'm actually taking 3 by 2, but here I have written 2 by 3, sorry. Let me change it. Yeah, this is what my A. Now tell me B such that, so that is a 2 by 3 matrix for which B into A equal to I2. It is easy to guess B. If you understand that matrix multiplication, it is easy to guess B. Is A singular or non-singular, sir? See, I'm not talking about a square matrix. To discuss the inverse of a square matrix, we talk about singular or non-singular. Of course, the determinant is defined for a square matrix. Whereas here I am taking a rectangular matrix, I am talking about the left inverse and the right inverse. Okay.
We will
Sir,
get system of linear equations, sir,
What?
by
sir,
taking B as some variables.
I taking, I didn't understand.
B matrix some variables అనుకుంటే
Hmm.
multiply చేస్తే will get 4 equations.
But if you observe that the things are easy here, no need to do that much hard work.
0 0 off, sir.
0 0 1 by 2.
No, sir. 0 1 0.
Row number నువ్వు చెప్పేది
Yes, sir. Row, sir.
0 1 0
0 0 off, sir.
1 by 2 exactly. So how did you think of it? Did you assume that A, B, C, E, F, G, and then you calculated and found out what are the unknowns? Is that the way you did, or any other way?
Yes, sir.
But that's a long process.
Yes, sir, but we can see that second row in A, sir,
Yeah.
1, and we need identity matrix 1 in first element as a first element. So
Yes.
second row, first column, like second column, first element should be 1. And 2 into 1 by 2 will give 1, sir. So like that you can directly.
Yeah, correct. See here, what we are doing is B times A. So here it is B, and here you have anyway this 0 2. So finally, the result what I need is an identity matrix. So finally, I need, see, since I am multiplying on the left side, so B times A I am seeing, we are looking in terms of B. So now let us think of rows. So when you multiply a first row with this matrix, what I need is 1 comma 0. Okay, so this element into here, if you observe that the first row is anyway 0, so we don't worry about the first entry. So this can be any number. I don't care whatever number you take, it doesn't matter to me. It can be 0 or 500 or 1 lakh, it doesn't matter. Next I exactly need the second row here. So I'm going to keep 1 times the second row, it gives me 1 comma 0. But I don't need this row here. Okay. So 1 times the second row plus 0 times the third row gives me 1 comma 0. And next, now the second row I want it to be 0 comma 1. So now you need to think about a combination of these 3 rows. That combination will give us 0 comma 1. So first element, it doesn't matter because it's not going to affect anything. Next, the second element, this we have to make it 0. Okay, so 0 times that. And here, this I want it to be 0 1. So what do? Definitely you multiply with 1 by 2. That's it. Okay, so now if you ask me left inverse of this matrix, we do not have 1, we have infinitely many left inverses for this matrix. Remember, when I say a left inverse and right inverse, that can be a rectangular matrix. For a square matrix, you may have both. Okay, but when it comes to a rectangular matrix, we talk in terms of left inverse and right inverse. So don't get confusion between the inverse of a square matrix and inverse here. To discuss inverse there, definitely we'll talk about singularity and non-singularity. But here, when it comes to here, that you can talk in terms of rank of a matrix. Okay, so the answer to our question is this. They need not be 0, you can take any other any elements here. So they can be any unknown, this can be any unknown. Okay, so this is the left inverse of A. Therefore I can say that B is the left inverse of A. Next, let me start with another matrix, and let's do one thing. let's try to see, is it possible to find a right inverse for A? Now let's talk about right inverse. Where A is, which matrix I'm taking? 3 by 2 matrix. Okay, so now what is it we are looking for? So we need to look for a B. Since I used B, let me use C. So definitely that must be of size 3 by 2 such that A into C equal to, oh, is that 3 by 2? No, it must be 2 by 3. 2 by 3 such that A into C will give you an identity matrix of size 3. So let me start with the same A. What is A here? So A is going to be 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2. And tell me what is C.
Sir, identity matrix would be I 2 by 2 matrix, I think.
What is it?
She's saying identity matrix will be I2 first. But I think it's 3.
How it is going to be I3? See, A is a 3 by 2 matrix and C is a 2 by 3 matrix. So when you take the product,
Sir.
see, I'm talking about the right side multiplication, A multiplied with C. So that's going to be 3 by 3 matrix only, right?
ఫస్ట్ రో ఆఫ్ ద ఏ జీరో కాబట్టి ఏసీలో ఫస్ట్ రో కూడా జీరో అవుద్ది కదా సార్.
ఓకే, యు ఆర్
Identity
సేయింగ్
matrix.
అంటే ఐడెంటిటీ రావడం ఛాన్స్ లేదని మీరు అనుకుంటున్నారు, అంతే కదా మీరు చెప్పేది?
ఎస్ సార్.
దట్స్ కరెక్ట్. కాకపోతే మనకి నేను ఎక్స్పెక్ట్ చేసేది ఏంటంటే అక్కడ I3 వస్తుందా, ఐడెంటిటీ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ 3 వస్తుందా? దిస్ ఈస్ ద క్వశ్చన్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ పాసిబుల్ టు ఫైండ్ సి? Is it possible to find C such that A times C equal to I3? If so, tell me what is that C. If not, tell me why it is not possible. Yeah, that's a good observation. Since the first row of A is 0, like whatever matrix you take, definitely when you take A times C, the first row, okay, so that is 0 times the first row here plus the 0 times the second row here, that definitely gives me 0 row. Okay, and if you ask me what is the second row, the second row is going to be the first row. Let me call star 1, star 1, star 1, star 2, star 2, star 2. So this is going to be star 1, star 1 and star 1. And the next guy is going to be 0 times the first row here plus 2 times the second row here. This will give me 2 star 2, 2 star 2, 2 star 2. These stars 2, I mean star 1s are not equal. Let me say that this is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now whatever elements you take in place of stars, you're not going to get an identity matrix. The result is a 3 by 3 matrix only, but it cannot be equal to an identity matrix. So now what I can say is A do not have right inverse. That I can say. So therefore, in other words, let me write it this way. Right inverse of A doesn't exist. Okay, so for rectangular matrices, specifically we call right inverses and left inverse. Okay. So now if you have some idea about ranks, let me talk about it. If you observe that the rank of this matrix A is 2. I hope you can see why it is. It is already in the echelon form. If you want it to be reduced echelon form, just you send that 0 to the down. Okay, so 1 0 0 2. How many non-zero rows are there? There are 2 non-zero rows, so the rank is 2. So now you need to think, is it possible to find C such that A into C equal to I3, where I3 is a matrix of rank 3? Okay, so yeah, we'll discuss more about it later on. I hope you understand what is right inverse and left inverse for a rectangular matrix. Now I'm going to say this. If you take a matrix A, if it has both right inverse and a left inverse, let's say you have a matrix A, and you came to know that this matrix, I don't know what is the size for time being, but I came to know that what is the right inverse of A, that is B. This is what right inverse. Okay, let me call it as a left inverse, and I came to know what is the right inverse. It means this matrix A, both it have both right inverse and a left inverse. Now I can say that this matrix A is invertible. Of course, you can check that this matrix is going to be a square matrix, definitely. Okay. See, if you do one thing, if you do not convince with this, let's say I'm saying that it is not possible to find C for which you get an A into C equal to identity. For this matrix, okay, it is easy, you did it. But what happens if I take a random matrix when A equal to, what is it? Let me take A11, A12, A21, A22, A31 and A32, and B equal to, now the matrix is, let me take in terms of star. Now I am looking at A into B. I am looking at the right inverse, right? So this is a matrix of size 3 by 2. This is a matrix of size 2 by 3. I do expect I3 here. Let me see whether it is possible or not. Now you are taking the first element. Then this row, like let me say this is nothing but A11 times R1 plus A12 times R2. Okay, and similarly here you will get A21 times R1 plus A22 times R2, and A31 times R1 plus A33 times 32 times R2. Okay, so here if you observe that you are taking linear combination of two elements. When you just take linear combination of two elements, you are going to get a space of 2 dimension. Okay. So now how do you expect one more element which is not a linear combination of these two? It's not possible. Try to understand what I mean. If you do not understand, I'll explain with this. 1 0 0, this is what one guy I'm taking. Next 1 1 1, this is what another one. Let me say this is R1, okay, and this is R2. Now, so one has taken A times R1 plus B times R2. That gives us A plus B, and this is B. Okay. Now this A and B, they can be any arbitrary elements. So you do now you tell me one thing. Is it possible to generate three elements, three linearly independent elements with this? Let us say for time being I'm taking a equal to 1. So when I take a equal to 1, I get 1 0 0. అది లీనియర్లీ ఇండిపెండెంట్ కాదని చెక్ చేయడానికి మనం డిటర్మినెంట్ యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. ఫస్ట్ రో 1 0 0 అనుకోవచ్చు when I plug in a equal to 1. Okay, now tell me the choice for a and b so that these guys is independent of the first row. Okay, let me take randomly. If I take a equal to 2 and b equal to 1, then what happens? I'm going to get 3 2 2. Okay, now it's your turn. Tell me a and b. One more a and b.
0 and 1.
0 and 1. Okay. So when a is 0, this is 0. Okay, 1 1 1 only. 1 1 1. Now do you know one thing? If you look at R2, I'm going to write
R2 minus 2R1 equal to R2 minus 3R1. So 2R1.
Yeah, I can I write R1 plus 2
R3.
R3. The second row, you can see it as the combination of the first row and the last row. Do you observe that? Or in other words, even the first row itself, you can look at the first row, R1, that is nothing but R2 minus 2R1, 2R3. Can you observe that? Of course, you can talk about R3. You can look at R3, that is nothing but what is R3? That's gonna be R2 minus R1 by 2. So you can see that the first row is combination of the next two rows, and the second row is a combination of first and third row, and third row is a combination of the first two rows. It means one guy is depending on others. If we have two other guys, we can talk about this. While first row, second row unte third row unnattu ikkada manaki, because we can express third row in terms of both. Okay, so now you got a dependent elements. And one more thing you can see, that what is the determinant of this matrix?
Zeros.
0, because we know that if you have a matrix where the one row can be expressed as a combination of other row, then definitely the determinant is 0. So here the determinant is 0, therefore these guys are independent. So if you have 1 0 0 0 1 0, definitely the third row, that will be a combination of these two only. You cannot get 0 0 1. Why? Because this 0 0 1 is independent of the first and second row. But here we came to know that whatever a comma b you take, it means whatever whatever aij's you give me, it is not possible to find b such that a into b equal to I3. That's what I mean. Okay, now we can conclude one thing. So if you have a matrix of size m by n, okay, if you know that m is greater than or equal to n, then I can clearly say that we can have a matrix of size. What can I say? What about left inverse of A? Does A have left inverse? Okay, let me give two statements. The statement P, which says that A can have left inverse, and Q, B can have right inverse. Sorry, A can have right inverse. I'm talking about A only. I'm saying it can have. It means it may exist. It, it may exist or it may not exist. What can you say? Can you say that something either left inverse or right inverse, it doesn't exist for sure? ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇది మ్యాట్రిక్స్ తీసుకున్నారు అనుకోండి, a matrix of size 3/2, I can surely tell that it is not possible to find the right inverse. And of course this is same. ఇక్కడ 3/2, m is greater than n, so you are saying that it is not possible to find right inverse. So this statement I can change it. So A does not have right inverse. Okay, so when it comes to the left inverse,
M less than or equal to M.
okay, so if A is a matrix of size n, if you know that m less than or equal to n, okay, then you can talk about left
M
inverse.
equal to
With-
N multiply left inverse, right inverse రెండు exist అవుతుంది. అదే it should be square matrix.
Yes, exactly. So here, when you know that m is less than n, I can surely tell that A does not have left inverse. But if you ask me about right inverse, it may exist or it may not exist. That is different. But this one I can surely tell. He cannot have left inverse. That's it. Whatever A you give me of size m by n, where m is less than or equal to n, I can surely tell that it doesn't have left inverse. And one more thing, I'm actually writing less than or equal to. Let me take strict inequalities, because the moment I take this greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, it can be equal also. When it is equal, then you can talk about both. Okay, so one more thing, let me tell you. Let us say A is a 2/3 matrix. Can you give me a matrix A for which A do not have left inverse? Not the left inverse, sorry, right inverse. Construct a 2/3 matrix such that A do not have left or right inverse. See, one thing I know, since m is less than or equal to n, like the number of rows are less than or equal to the number of columns, I can surely tell that there is no left inverse for this matrix. రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ నేనేం అడుగుతున్నా అంటే రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ కూడా ఉండకుండా మ్యాట్రిక్స్ కన్స్ట్రక్ట్ చేయమన్నా 2/3 మ్యాట్రిక్స్ని. పాసిబుల్లా కాదా? పాసిబుల్ అయితే మ్యాట్రిక్స్ చెప్పండి, పాసిబుల్ కాకపోతే ఎందుకు పాసిబుల్ కాదో చెప్పండి. 0 0 star 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 star. I'm asking 2 by 3, no? Simple, sir. You do one thing. You just take this 1 0. The rest of them you keep it zeros. That's it. Okay. Now, if you look at this matrix, whatever B you take, okay. So whatever B you take, since the second row of A is 0, when you take A into B, then definitely the second row of AB is 0. Okay, the first row, it can be the first row, just the first row. Okay, or in other words, if you want to have more non-zero entries, yes, you can take, that is 1 2 3 0 0 0. Still here also the second row is 0, so it never equal to identity matrix IN I2. It's not equal to identity matrix. Okay, so if you have a matrix of size 2 by 3, I can surely tell that there is no left inverse for this matrix. But when it comes to right inverse, we have to investigate depending upon the entries. Okay, I hope you understand. అంటే మనకి 2 by 3 మ్యాట్రిక్స్ అయితే లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ లేదు అన్నారు కాబట్టి రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఖచ్చితంగా ఉంటుందని కాదు. రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ అంటే మీరు ట్రై చేయొచ్చు రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ దొరుకుతుందా లేదా అనేది. చెప్పండి.
లైక్ సార్ యాక్చువల్గా లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ రెండు ఉంటేనే మనం ఇన్వర్టబుల్ అని చెప్తున్నాం కదా. సో అసలు ఇప్పుడు అలా ఈక్వల్ అవ్వదు అని మనం ప్రూవ్ చేస్తున్నాం, లైక్ ఏదో ఒక సైడ్ ఉండదు అని చెప్పి. ఓన్లీ లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఆర్ రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఉన్న అది దేనికి యూజ్ అవుతుంది? లైక్ ఫర్ రెక్టాంగులర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఇన్వర్టబుల్, బట్ వీఆర్ ఫైండింగ్ ఎయిదర్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద సైడ్. అది ఎక్కడైనా లైక్ అప్లికేషన్స్ ఏమైనా ఉన్నా లైక్ ఎక్కడైనా యూజ్ చేస్తాం
డికంపోజిషన్స్ లో డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. Like whatever the basics we are discussing here, definitely in this course itself we are going to use them again. Okay, ఇప్పుడు ఒక రెక్టాంగులర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ ఉందంటే దాన్ని అనాలిసిస్ చేయడం కోసం మనం డికంపోజిషన్ మాట్లాడుతాం. క్యూఆర్ డికంపోజిషన్, ఎల్యూ డికంపోజిషన్. దేర్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు సీ వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఇంపార్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. Okay, so I hope it is enough about left and right inverses of these rectangular matrices. Did we prove this result AB whole inverse is B inverse A inverse? And let me conclude it here. See, if you have a matrix A for which it has both inverses, definitely it is going to be a square matrix. There is no doubt in it, right? So let A be a matrix such that A into B equal to, and similarly B into, not B into A. Okay, A into B equal to identity. Now another one, C into A equal to identity. Now I have a question. The question is B equal to C? This is the first question. I don't know what is the size of this matrix A, but I came to know that there is a matrix B such that A into B will give me an identity matrix and C into A will give me an identity matrix of size n. So then definitely this A must be of size n by n. So with this information I can see what is the size of A. So I found a matrix B for which AB is an identity matrix, CA is an identity matrix. Now my question is B equal to C? What I mean, Since these two are equal, you can equate it. A into B, that's equal to C into A. Both are equal to
ఇన్వర్స్
identity
ఎగ్జిస్ట్
matrix.
అయినప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఏబి ఈక్వల్
Amma?
సి అవుతుంది. ఏబి ఏ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అయినప్పుడు మాత్రమే ఏబి ఈక్వల్ టు సి అవుతుంది.
Sure?
ఐ థింక్
మీరు చెప్పింది కరెక్టే. ఏ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అయినప్పుడు బి ఈక్వల్ టు సి అవుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు నాకు ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుందో లేదా అనే ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ నా దగ్గర లేదమ్మా అసలు. అసలు
అంటే
సింగులరా కాదా, ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్
సింగులారిటీ మీద డిపెండ్ అయి ఉంటుంది సార్. సింగులారిటీ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ కి ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుంది. నాన్ సింగులర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ అయితే ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుంది.
దట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వీ నో. కానీ ఇప్పుడు నాకేంటంటే అది ఏ అనేది అసలు ఎంట్రీస్ ఏంటో తెలియదు, ఏం తెలియదు. అలా ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుందాం. ఇక్కడ నాకు ఏ బి ఇంటూ ఐడెంటిటీ అని తెలుసు, సి ఇంటూ ఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ఐడెంటిటీ అని తెలుసు. ఈ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మాత్రమే నా దగ్గర ఉంది, ఇంక వేరే ఏ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ లేదు. దీన్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని బి ఈక్వల్ టు సి అని చెప్పొచ్చు. దీన్ని బేస్ చేసుకుని ఏ ఇన్వర్టబుల్ అని చెప్పొచ్చు. నా క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైందా?
ఎస్ సార్.
యా.
ఐ థింక్ చెప్పలేము సార్.
Are you sure? We should try.
సార్ చెప్పొచ్చు. లైక్ అంటే మనం అంటే క్లియర్ గా అక్కడ ఉంది కదా సార్, లైక్ ఏబి ఈక్వల్ టు ఐఎన్ అన్నాం అంటే లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుందని,
Yes.
ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుందని. అలాగే సిఏ ఈక్వల్ టు ఐఎన్ అనేసాం అంటే లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుందని.
Okay.
బట్ రెండు ఈక్వల్ అనేది లైక్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుంది కాబట్టి ఈక్వాలిటీ అలాగే.
Again you are using that thing. You are saying that since the inverse exists.
యా లైక్ అంటే ఏబి ఈక్వల్ టు ఐఎన్ అని రాసేసారు కాబట్టి లైక్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అని చెప్పి చెప్తున్నాను సార్ నేను.
See,
Like what
the
means?
simplest thing is you take a paper, keep it on a paper, you will get it. Somehow you start with B and try to prove that that is equal to A. C. See, you do one thing, you start with B. Okay? So B, I'm going to write it as identity into B. Do you agree with this? IB? Well, definitely, B is a matrix of size n by n and C is also a matrix of size n by n. There is no doubt in it. My aim is to prove that B equal to C. So what I will do, I'll start with B and this is the information I have.
అకార్డింగ్ టు గివెన్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏ కి లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుంది, ఏ కి రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ కూడా ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అవుతుంది కదా సార్.
అవునమ్మా.
సో స్క్వేర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ అని చెప్పారు కదా సార్.
అవును.
స్క్వేర్ మ్యాట్రిక్స్ కి లెఫ్ట్ ఇన్వర్స్ రైట్ ఇన్వర్స్ ఎగ్జిస్ట్ అయినప్పుడు మేబీ బి ఈక్వల్ టు సి అనే కదా.
అదేనమ్మా, ఇంక మనం మేబీ అని అనొద్దు, అయితే ప్రూవ్ చేసేద్దాం. మీరు చెప్పింది కరెక్టే. ఇంక మేబీ అనే క్వశ్చన్ అవుతాం మనకి. అయితే అవుతుంది, లేదంటే లేదు, అది చెప్పేద్దాం ఇప్పుడు. ఫస్ట్ విల్ స్టార్ట్ విత్ బి. విల్ ట్రై టు సీ వెదర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈక్వల్ టు సి ఆర్ నాట్. Okay, so now I'll do one thing. This identity I'll replace with CA, that is CA into B. And then what will I do? Then I'm going to write it as C times, using the associative property, this is same as C times AB. But you know what is AB? That is identity. That is C, that's it. Therefore, B equal to C. Over. There is no question of maybe now. Now it is guaranteed if left inverse exists for A and right inverse exists for A, then definitely both the left inverse and right inverse will be equal. Okay, and of course this matrix is going to be inverse of this matrix. Okay, now we can take this definition. If you take a matrix which has both left inverse and right inverse, I'm going to call that as an invertible matrix. Is it clear?
Yes sir, clear.
Yeah. Here if you observe that I didn't use any information whether A is invertible or not. I didn't use that information. Just the given information we used it. Okay. Now the next you have types of matrices. This is all about inverse. This we proved it. Okay, here is one application I'd like to discuss this. It's a simple thing. It's about how matrix multiplication is useful. Just to tell that how matrix multiplication is useful. Okay, so look at this problem. A certain company manufactures 3 products P, Q, R in 4 different plants W, X, Y, Z. The various costs involved in producing a single item of product are given in the table. So for material to produce this product P, it costs $1, whereas for Q it costs $2, for R it costs $1. And similarly for the labor cost for producing P is $3, for Q 2. Similarly overheads, that may be supervisors or whoever it may be. For overheads it will be $2 here, 1 there, 2 there. And what is other information given? The number of items produced in 1 month at the 4 locations are as follows. So there are 4 locations W, X, Y, Z, and these are the product P. So if you look at product P in the location W, 2000 units were produced, whereas in location X 3000 units were produced. Similarly, if you look at R in location Z, 2500 units were produced. Now what is the question? The problem is to find the total monthly costs of material, labor and overheads at each factory. For example, I'd like to know what is the material cost in factory, let's say in factory W. So if you want the material cost in factory W, what do you do? So in to produce one product of type P, it costs $1. So in W I am producing $2. So definitely what I'll do, in W we are producing 2000 items. So this 2000 into $1. To know the material cost, I'd like to know the material cost now. In plant W, that's what my wish. Next, for producing Q, it cost $2. And how many items were produced in factory W of type Q? 1000. So therefore 1000 into $2, right? Next, similarly, when it comes to R, it costs $1. So you are producing total 2000 items times $1. Okay. So if you ask me what is the material cost in W, I'll write this guy. That is 1 times 2000 plus 2 times 1000 plus 1 times 2000. What is this going to be? 6000. So this is the cost of material in plant W. To produce all these guys P, Q, R, this is the total material I needed. I mean, this is the total amount of money I need to spend on material. Now next, I'd like to see how much amount I need to spend on labor to produce, in this plant Z. So if you want to know the cost, so in P you need to spend $3 for each, so there are total 4000. And similarly in Q you need to spend $2 for each, total you are producing 1000. And in R you need to spend $2, total you are producing this. So total cost, you take the sum of them, then you can come to know what is the amount of money you need to spend on labor and on this Z. Okay, so if you observe that this is simply a matrix multiplication, when you take this as a cost matrix, see this row multiplied with this column is going to give me the amount of money we are spending on the material in factory W. Similarly, the second row multiplied with the let me take this column, second row multiplied with this column Y, which gives me the cost of the labor which we are spending in plant Y. Okay, similarly if you look at the third row multiplied with X, which gives me the cost of overheads that I am spending on plant X. Okay, you can see how matrix multiplication is useful here. Simply you can do one thing. First you can write a cost matrix here. So what is a cost matrix? PQR is given 1 2 1, and whereas this one is 3 2 2, and this one 2 1 2. And next the number of items produced. So for cost matrix, let us use C. For the number of items produced, let us use N. So in plant X, you're producing how many? 2000, 3000. Okay, let me write it with columns. 2, 1, 2. 2K, 1K, 2K. 2K, I mean 1000. 2000. 3K. And this is going to be 500, that's going to be half K.
0.5k.
Half K, right? Or 0.5K. Now this will be 2K. And then 4, 1, 2.5. Okay, so now you just multiply C times N. So this is a 3 by 3 matrix. So it seems I missed something. I missed to write the last one.
Another column is there.
Middle column I missed it, right? Yeah, 1, 1.5, 0.5, 2.5. $1.5K, 0.5K, 2.5K. Okay. So now this is a 3 by 3 matrix, this is a 3 by 4 matrix. So now you are going to get a 3 by 4 matrix here. But here you can see that each row represents the material, and whereas this one represents the plant W, and this column represents the plant X, and this column represents the plant Y, and this represents the plant Z. Now this represents the labor, whereas next overheads. So if you look at if you take an element here, so this represents the cost of labor that we are spending on plant Y, and if you take an element here, the cost of overheads that we are spending on plant Z. So this is what this matrix tells us. Okay, they are not zeros, they are some quantities, that's it. Okay, so they are not zeros. So this is just one example to see the importance of matrix multiplication. And there is one more. So this is the last one for today. Not for today, for this session. Today we have one more session. In a certain city, there are 1,000 people of employable age. At present, 7,000 are employed and the rest are out of work. Each year, 10% of those employed became unemployed, while 60% of the employed find work. assuming that the total pool of people remains the same. What will be the employment picture? Be in the next, in 3 years time. You can see that there are total 1000 people. And you already have some information. 7000 are employed. It means the rest of the 3000 are unemployed. But each year this is what happening. 10% of the employed become unemployed, and 60% of the unemployed find work. It means they become employed. So what will be the picture after 3 years? So can you tell me the picture? This you have to carefully observe. Every year 10% of the employed are becoming unemployed. So they gave percentage. What percent of the employees are becoming unemployed and what percent of unemployed are becoming employed. So let's do one thing. Let's assume that E1 is the one which represents number of employees in the first year, like in the beginning. That's what you can take it as 7000. And U1 is the one which represents the number of unemployed in the first year. Similarly, let me define what is En and Un. En, which represents the number of employed persons in nth year. If you take E1, that is first year. Similarly, Un, that represents the number of unemployed persons in the nth year. Okay. So you know what is E1. E1 you directly know that is 7000, and whereas U1 you know that is 3000. So next, what is E2 and U2? So can we find any relation between them? So when it comes to E2, you should observe carefully. We know that 1% of the employed persons, what do you mean by not 1%? 10%. If you convert 10% to decimal, will it be equal to 0.1? Yes or no? 10%, that's same as 10 by 100. If you convert it as decimal, that will be equal to 1 by 10, that is 0.1. That's what I mean. Okay. So 0.1 times of employed persons in the first year, they are becoming unemployed. Oh, this is for unemployment, but what is for employment? 60% of the unemployed find the work. Sorry, the new employees are going to be 60% of the unemployed, so that is 0.6 times U1 plus if 10% are becoming unemployed, the remaining 90% are, stayed as employed, right? So can I write it like this?
0.9 E1
Yes,
plus
0.9 times E1 plus 0.6 times U1. This is what the employed persons in the second year. Similarly, what about unemployed persons in the second year? 10% of the employed are losing jobs. So 10% of E1 plus. Now how many of the unemployed remains as unemployed?
0.4%.
How 70?
40%.
0.4 only, right? Because 60% became employed, it means the remaining 40% left as unemployed. U1. Okay, so this is what E2, U2. And of course, this is same for every year. Every year it is going at a constant rate. Each year they say 10% are becoming unemployed, and whereas 60% of the unemployed becoming employed. So we can write a generalized case here, that is En, that's equal to 0.9, or let me do one thing, let me write En plus 1 here, 0.9 times En plus 0.6 times Un, whereas Un plus 1, that is 0.1 times En plus 0.4 times Un. Now we can see in terms of a matrix. Now this entire thing can be expressed as En plus 1, Un plus 1, that equal to 0.9, 0.6, 0.1, 0.4 multiplied with En, Un. So let me take this matrix as A. Okay. Let me assume this one as xn plus 1. Xn plus 1 is equal to A into xn. This matrix A is same. So if you want x1, x2, that is simply A times x1. Whereas if you want x3, that is A times of x2, that equal to A times of, again you know what is x2, A times of x1, so that's nothing but A square times of x1. Okay, what is it we need? We need picture of in 3 years. So is it after 3 years? So when it comes to third year, you can simply calculate what is the square of this matrix and write it and multiply with these entries, then you'll come to know. So the result answer to the required question is this. First you need to write what is this matrix A square multiplied with E1, that is 7000, E2, that is 3000. So this will give you the answer. Okay. So this is one more example to demonstrate the importance of matrix multiplication, and this is about power of a matrix. Finding powers of the matrix. మీకు 4th ఇయర్లో పిక్చర్ కావాలంటే ఏ క్యూబ్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయండి, ఏ క్యూబ్తో x1 మల్టిప్లై చేయండి. లేదు 100th ఇయర్లో పిక్చర్ కావాలంటే a పవర్ 100 మల్టిప్లై విత్ దట్స్ ఇట్. Okay, so I'll stop it here. Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. We'll again meet at 6 p.m. in the evening.